So I recently read Black Clover Gaiden Quartet Knights, and it was a pretty good story, and I thought I should make a video on it and share it to more people. So for those of you who don't know, this is a spin-off manga based on Black Clover Quartet Knights on the PS4. So pretty much if you already played the PS4 game, you're probably not going to need to read this spin-off manga because in my opinion, I've played the PS4 game and I've read the spin-off manga and the stories are pretty much identical. There are a couple of small differences between the two, and if you're a hardcore fan, I would still recommend reading Black Clover Gaiden just because you want to pick up on those small things. So essentially this manga picks up after the Sea Temple arc after the Black Bulls faced off against Veto. So the story starts off with Yami, Finral, Asta, and Noelle going to complete a dungeon. We hear them arguing with each other and having banter with each other just in typical Black Clover fashion. The characters seem to retain their original personalities from the original manga, and I would say their personalities are 100% intact from the original manga. I know a lot of people like to see the dungeons and stuff along those lines, magic items, and this story has a lot of that. Since it's a spin-off, it kind of expands into the world that's already set down in the original manga. So we see a dungeon, and we see quite a few dungeons in this series. So the dungeon that Asta and the gang are tasked with completing this time is the lava dungeon, and what ends up happening is that they're attacked by some golems, and Yami goes ahead of them and tells them to take care of the golems. Captain Yami goes ahead of the other members and he leaves the golems to be taken care of by Asta, Finral, and Noelle. After taking care of the golems, the gang goes to meet back up with Captain Yami. What they end up finding in the next room is a young Captain Yami. So it appears as though Yami has reverted back to a younger self before he even obtained his grimoire. Shortly after, we're introduced to Karna. To put it simply, she's the main antagonist of this spin-off series. Now later it's revealed that she's actually possessed by someone else, but I'm not going to spoil that in case you want to get into this manga. We get to see how Captain Yami would have reacted to people when he was younger. He seems to be very good friends with Karna, and he seems to be very hot-headed. In this story, we also get to see a lot of the other Magic Knight squads interacting with each other. At one point, they're all summoned to meet the Wizard King so he can come up with a strategy to defeat Karna, who also at this point teams up with the Eye of the Midnight Sun. At one point in the story, Yami and Asta even team up together to take down over 100 possessed Magic Knights. The way I like to look at this spin-off series is kind of like a what if. For example, there's a battle between Veto and Luck, and if you really think about it, it's just like a what if. Like, what if Veto and Luck had a rematch? And it was actually a really cool fight in this manga. It's really interesting to see how even when Captain Yami was younger, he still had such a fighting spirit. For example, there's a lot of moments where he gets himself into kind of a messy situation and he always seems to surpass his limits, just like he teaches the Black Bulls. You really get to see how much respect Yami actually has amongst all of the other Magic Knights, considering that even though he's younger, they still really respect him. Now, moving away from the story a little bit, because I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't yet read it. The art is pretty crispy, I'm not gonna lie. The art looks pretty good. It's not exactly like Tabata's art, it's a little bit different, but it really stands out as some really good art. This story is probably best for like the hardcore Black Clover fans, because I doubt this is ever gonna get adapted into a anime, because it already has a video game based on the same story, so making an anime for this wouldn't really make sense. So if you want to experience this, you can experience this same story if you have the video game Black Clover Quartet Knights, but I know some people don't have the video game and they don't have any way to play the video game, so the manga is also a good way to experience this story. So all in all, it's a pretty good side story, so I'd say if you're a Black Clover fan, you should definitely check this out. And if you're not a Black Clover fan, you probably might get some enjoyment out of this, but I'm not entirely sure because I'm pretty sure this was aimed more toward people who are already fans of the Black Clover manga. So yeah, with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. It's been your boy NeoXO, and I'm out.